It is now official. Azimio are going back to the streets. Maandamano is back with a vengeance. Now, many Kenyans seated very comfortably in their apartments, without too much to worry about. There's food on the table, bills are being paid on time, etc., etc. Have a very interesting analysis of what is going to happen next. And I believe it is important we start with their analysis, so that we understand better, so that our eyes are opened wider to see what is coming. My friends, it is coming. And it is going to be unprecedented. But let's start with this comfortable, very fortunate Kenyans. Okay? The analysis is that maandamano has lost momentum. Azimio has been away from the streets for so long that it will be so difficult to pick up that momentum again and take it anywhere near where it was when the maandamanos were so abruptly halted, for the so-called bipartisan talks. Now, in a normal political situation, where things are normal, where any business opens and their customers and they're banking money every day and everything is okay, that analysis may be accurate. Taking also into consideration human nature. If you're comfortable, there's no big deal. Let me just give you a quick example. Many Kenyans do not understand that there's a very huge difference in the thinking of a man who has eaten and the thinking of a man who has not had a meal even for a few hours. Now, I have a huge suspicion that this kind of thinking is what is deep in government with the decision makers. Okay? In fact, they're assuming that because they have state machinery, they're in government. Government has a lot of tools, techniques, strategies that they can use to deal with many problems. So, why is this analysis very wrong in this instance? Reason number one, Finance Bill 2023. Let me put it this way. Instead of people cooling their heels, instead of people losing momentum to protest against the government, to protest legally under the Constitution, instead of that happening, something very different has happened. The government itself has come out and ensured that in fact Kenyans are not cooling their heels. They're doing press-ups, they're doing sit-ups, they're exercising, keeping fit, getting ready for the maandamano. In fact, they've gone beyond that. They've even gone into Kenyans' ears and whispered into their ears, you can do this, get ready for this, get psyched up, get ready for maandamano, right? That is what the government has done through the Finance Bill 2023. Because this bill, this Finance Bill 2023, in fact, I want to stop calling it Finance Bill 2023 and call it what it is. In my opinion, this bill is maliza kumaliza kabisa. That's what it is. And don't even tell me about the housing levy. That is nothing. That touches very few Kenyans. Those who have a pay slip, and it's going to be deducted at source. Housing levy, let's not even talk about it. The increase on the VAT on fuel, in fact, by doubling it from 8% to 16%, double. That one alone is enough Forget all the other punitive measures, all the other things which will finger Kenyans. Yeah, really press them to the wall. That one alone is just enough. Because it means what we're going to see next is super inflation. Very high inflation. Today you go and buy something at the shop, it is 100 shillings. Tomorrow, just the next day, a few hours later, 24 hours later, you come to the same shop. That same item is 300 shillings. I kid you not. How are Kenyans going to live? And the saddest thing of all is that the vast majority of Kenyans still don't fully comprehend, they don't fully understand the impact of what is about to happen. They don't. They're just following the narrative. People are saying prices are going to increase. Hii bill itaongeza bei. Period. They don't know anything else. But now when the reality comes into effect, beginning of next month, vitu kwa ground zitakuwa tofauti. Okay? So the government has been psyching up people for maandamano using this bill called Maliza Kumaliza Kabisa, Finance Bill 2023. Number 2, the government has also inspired Kenyans, whispered into their ears, psyched them up, get ready for maandamano, with these massive scandals. Okay? Edible oils scandal, maize scandal, etc., etc. And then even as they're denying these scandals, Kenyans are watching and looking at these people, the way they are suddenly dressing, the way they are behaving. You know, when a Kenyan gets money, a lot of it suddenly, it is very easy to know. The way they behave, the way they talk. You know, in the 60s, a very popular Kenyan singer called Daudi Kabaka produced a song. And in that song, the words that have always stuck out for me, because they're very humorous, he was talking about how people behave when they get their pay at the end of the month. Yeah. According to Kabaka, they stopped talking Kiswahili and they're talking English all over the place. Yeah. Even if they don't understand the language well. And then the climax of the song is when they've spent their entire salaries. Salary kwisha maneno. And Daudi Kabaka says, Kizungu kimeisha, Kiswahili kimerudi. My friends, Kenyans are very predictable. But apart from that, we have had mind-blowing stories about Kenyans who used to live in Syokimau, by the way, which is surrounded by some slums, many slums. And these Kenyans who used to live in Syokimau are now in Karen, yeah, pushing up property prices because they are buying like there's no tomorrow. Hii pesa ngapi? 400 million. Where do I sign? Can I call my lawyer? Hakuna kubagin. Yani, it is out there in the open for anybody to see. It is so obvious. We have had past governments where people have been eating, where there's been corruption. But what those people were doing with their money, we were not seeing. How they were changing as individuals, we were not seeing. Now, everything is out in the open. Now, regulars on this channel should not be surprised, because we said here that the season which you have entered of judgment also comes with something else. Exposure. Yani Kenyans, you will see with your own eyes. Not fake news from Chris Kumekucha. You will see for yourself. And that is precisely what is already happening. And I have news for you. Mambo bado. So people are showing off all over the place. People are just showing us how rich they are, how they can buy houses, and Kenyans are suffering. Now, is that provoking people or is it not? Is that inspiring as a trainer, whispering into somebody's ears, get ready for maandamano? Do more press-ups, you can do it. That is what UD are doing to Kenyans. So what do you expect? And I will also give you number 3. Number 3 is something called arrogance. By the way, many Kenyans, when they get money, there is arrogance. There is a lot of arrogance. Kwani iko nini? Kwani utadu nini? Niambie utafanya nini? Wewe ni nani? Unajua mimi ni nani? Who are you? What can you do? Arrogance. And we have seen that arrogance in the response we have received from cabinet secretaries accused of corruption, accused of dodgy deals. Edible oils comes to mind. Instead of responding to the allegations, hao wanajibu na matusi. Okay? They attack the media. They hurl insults at Kenyans. They talk arrogantly. Kwani mtafanya nini? We're in government. We have the power. Now you tell me, is that inspiring people to go on maandamano or not? Is that psyching up people or not? So bottom line, if you are sitting there and thinking that maandamano has lost momentum, sit down and think again. And maybe miss a meal or so. And then maybe your brain will start to work properly, so that you understand the crazy, dangerous, deadly situation we are in as a country today. And then to make matters worse, and many Kenyans have known this, Kenyans have been leaving the country in droves. And not only rich people, even ordinary Kenyans. Somebody was offered something out of the country some time back. They ignored it. I want to stay at home. I want to be close to my extended relatives. I want to be close to my relatives, my aging mother, my aging father. In recent times, these Kenyans have called those people and told them, now this deal you're talking about, Istanbul, Nigeria, Tanzania, this deal you're talking about, is it still on? And Kenyans are leaving the country in large numbers, larger than you think. But now, the UDA government has done something else. In my opinion, I believe it is a deliberate effort to frustrate Kenyans, keep them in the country so that they pay taxes. By this excuse that has come up, the passport printing machines have broken down. Hey! Let's analyze that for a minute. Passport machines have broken down in a country that is advanced as Kenya. How long does it take to order a vital spare part of that broken down machine? I mean, it can come by air overnight. My apologies if I'm being naive, but this thing of broken down passport printing machine, I don't buy. I don't buy. The idea seems to keep Kenyans here, because Kenyans who are not here cannot pay those taxes. And all these things make it very believable when Martha Karua tells us that the main reason these taxes have been pushed through, ignoring the views and the cries and the protests of Kenyans, is so that the UDA people, the UDA gang, the UDA thugs, I don't think I can call them anything else, can live large and eat well. Okay, the rest of you Kenyans, mtajipanga nyinyi wenyewe. Yeah, but after you pay your taxes. And so, in my opinion, Raila Odinga and Azimio must thank the UDA government very sincerely, and in a very grateful manner. They must really thank the UDA government for training, psyching up, preparing the people of Kenya for maandamano. That is really what it is. And after this meeting, on Tuesday, 27th of June, it's actually a massive rally at Kamukunji historical grounds. After this rally, I have another fear, and it is a fear I've had for a very long time. You see, as long as Azimio are controlling this maandamano and these protests, we are all safe because we're all in the same country. However, there is now a very high likelihood, because of the very good job UDA government did, because of the excellent job they did in psyching up people, there is a very huge danger that the people of Kenya can push Azimio aside and decide to take matters into their own hands. Now, I know there's some people praying for that, wishing for that to happen. But these are people who have never been in such situations. These are people who don't understand what anarchy looks like. They don't. They have not fully grasped what could happen to them and their dear family, mambo ikichafuka. And that is my greatest fear. Because the government is always saying, we don't want people to damage property. And they're saying this to Azimio peaceful demonstrators. Even other peaceful demonstrators, there have been a few demonstrations, small ones, are promptly arrested contrary to our constitution, and thrown into cells. I don't know what they're being charged with, but whatever they're being charged with is mostly fiction. Pure fiction. Fictional charges, if you like. But in fact, this has even been helping the maandamano crowd to stay fit with press-ups and sit-ups, and star jumps and everything necessary to keep fully fit and in tip-top condition for maandamano. And this fear I have is very real, because I understand what Kenyans are going through on the ground. I'm telling you, this thing has even reached the middle class. People are strained. People are where they have never been before. I mean, you have a business that has been sustaining you for decades, and now you open, no customer from morning till evening, because people don't have money to spend. And our very clever, smart economists in government don't seem to realize that purchasing power, people being able to spend, is critical in any economy. How does the economy move when the people cannot spend? How? How will that one work? And to add insult to injury, these people who cannot spend, these people are barely getting by. You're taxing them to the bone. Folks, I believe the writing is very clearly on the wall. And we really have to pray that the people of Kenya, the long-suffering people of Kenya, don't push Azimio and Raila aside and decide to take matters into their own hands. Because that one will be more than ugly. My strong advice to you is, please prepare. Adjust yourself. Try and avoid emotions and instead focus on how you're going to adjust your lifestyle. Adjust the way you live. Adjust the way you get money to put food on the table. Adjust all that and brace yourselves and let us prepare for what is already here. Okay? And indeed, you can get a lot of help from a set of videos, how to prosper in a dead economy. Yeah. And indeed, I have a current offer where you can get both these videos, these sets of videos, together with 3 amazing books. 101 ideas that will thrive even in a dead economy. How to get customers very quickly. Yeah, no advertising, no selling, etc., etc. And the 3rd ebook, which I added recently, is on side hustles. How to turn your idle hours into cash. Yeah, all that is thrown in with this package of these amazing videos, eye-opening videos. But I was saying my latest offer is that I've tied in this with 1 year's subscription to my weekly intelligence briefings. Yeah? And you can get both of them for only $14.95, or Kenya shillings 1,495. I believe you can see details on your screens right now. Take full advantage of this offer so that you prepare. Yeah? You prepare how you live, but then you also prepare by fully understanding what is happening behind the scenes, so that when I tell you it is coming, you understand what I'm talking about. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.